And, people ask me sometimes, they say, Dr. Field, do you think problems are as simple as you make them out to be? And the truth is, I don't think problems are simple at all. In fact, I think problems are really, most of the time, pretty complex. They're pretty layered. They have a lot of different origins, and they're oftentimes comorbid. A lot of things exist together. So I don't think problems are simple at all. But the solutions are often simple, don't you think? I mean, it's kind of like the old joke, you go to the doctor and you say, this hurts, and he says, well, then don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times it's very simple in that somebody will have a complex thing that comes from childhood, or maybe it's a drug background, or they've had trauma in their life. But the solution is change your behavior. I mean, stop rewarding bad behavior. Choose a different path in life. Just behave your way to success. Sometimes the solutions are very simple, even though the problems are very complex, because at some point you have to stop focusing on why and start focusing on what. Instead of why it happened, what am I going to do to change it? So sometimes the solutions are pretty simple. If somebody can identify what their payoff is, where they really can figure out, I'm doing this repeatedly and my payoff is I don't have to work, or I don't get held accountable for this, or I'm escaping accountability over here, or I get attention or sympathy, or if they can figure out what their payoff is, and they can then control that, whether it's for themselves or their kids or whatever. If you control the currency, then you can control the behavior. Payoffs don't necessarily mean that it's a positive payoff.
Right.
I mean, the payoff for taking heroin is you get high, and so you're high for a while. That's not a positive payoff, but it's a payoff.
Right.
And if you get high and so you don't get a job and you don't take care of your kids, that's a payoff that you're not doing things that you need to do that you should be accountable for. It's a pathological payoff, but it's a payoff nonetheless. And so that does reward you, even though it's a pathological payoff, it's a pathological thing. You call it a reward. And if you can identify that, where they say, look, I'm not doing what I need to do, and I need to stop rewarding myself in that way and hold myself accountable. I need to be there for my kid. I tell my kid I'm going to be there every day, and I don't show up because I'm high on drugs, then I need to stop doing it. I need to not let myself get away with that, and instead require myself to show up for the kid when I say I do, say I will, and then you see what's in the kid's eyes, you share the experience with them. Now that becomes your payoff, so then you'll start showing up for your kid.
Well, there's so many people out there that are trying to do better. They're trying to get their lives in order. And, shows like yours and just advice shows, people that are giving out inspiration and knowledge. It's such an important thing for people, especially for people that didn't grow up with wise parents or maybe a good support system around them.
I think that's true. And I grew up with an alcoholic father, and it was a pretty violent home, and he was a really bad alcoholic. And I know, having grown up in that, you wind up with what I call a damaged personal truth, and you feel second class. And the problem that kids make, and because I know I did it, and I see others do it, is you compare your personal truth, what you know about yourself and how you really live and what's really going on. You compare your personal truth to everybody else's social mask. Because you go to school and I know that last night the windows got kicked out of my house. I know that the utilities got turned off, and I know there was a big fight in my kitchen last night. And the kid sitting next to me, he's got on a shirt that's all ironed, and his face is all bright and clean, and he looks like he's just got it all together. And you compare yourself to that person, that kid, and you feel like you're second class. And the problem with that is we generate the results in life we think we deserve. So if you think you're damaged, you think you're second class, you will generate results that you think a second class person deserves. So if you don't fix your personal truth, then you'll spend the rest of your life saying, well, those really good results, those belong for somebody else. That's not for me. That's for somebody else. And you'll settle for second best, and you won't get what you might otherwise generate for yourself if you don't fix your personal truth. And so I think a lot of people are struggling, looking for a way to kind of get out of feeling not good about themselves and damage self-esteem, damage self-worth, and they really don't know where to go. And they may think, oh my God, I'm so far overweight, I'll never get it under control, or I'm so behind in my bills, or I'm so, just depressed, or everything is so out of control. Well, you know what? You make those incremental changes, and then, pretty soon in December you go, hey, I'm way better off than I was at the end of February. So, you made little changes, and they all added up. And if you don't, by the end of the year, you're just in deeper. So every little bit matters.